Y'all stop. This is that ride.
So this is our first offshoot of the Ball Up Top podcast network. This is going to be focused on the Oklahoma City Thunder. We have our two resident Oklahoma City Thunder fan. I can't really claim to be the deepest or the strongest Thunder fan when I have Shahnoor in the room with me. So thank you for joining me,
Happy to
Shahnoor.
be here.
Happy to talk.
Glad we can talk Thunder basketball.
The Aloklahoma City Thundoor.
Now we're talking.
As we affectionately call it. So this is just a free form podcast we'll do every once in a while, just talking about the state of the Oklahoma City Thunder, a team that's at the top of the West, one of the best teams in the league. But there's always things to nitpick at and things to analyze. It's one of the more interesting teams with a good top end talent that's also young and a treasure trove of draft picks. So one of the most flexible yet deep teams you'll see in the league. So a lot to talk about. But what I first want to do is, just given that we're talking about all things Oklahoma City Thunder, I just want to ask you, Shahnoor, kind of if you can take yourself back to 2008 or so and remember what really drew you to the Oklahoma City Thunder in the first place. If you could enlighten us, please, just for our audience.
Well, so growing up, I was just a Kobe fan. So I just followed Kobe. Well, I like a few players.
Brother.
Kobe, Allen Iverson, Carmelo Anthony,
brother,
and Tracy McGrady. But I liked Kobe the most, obviously. So until like 2009. In 2010, I don't know what it was. I mean, Baby Thunder, they just inspired me, man. And I hopped on the bandwagon 2010. They got eliminated by Lakers that year in 2010.
Yeah, it was like a 6-game series, no?
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah. And then Mavs the next year. And then my very first bet I made with my friends, I said Thunder in 5 against. I have friends with 2 diehard Lakers fans. I said Thunder in 5. They laughed at me.
You did them one better, huh?
They laughed at me. It wasn't 5, right?
It was. I thought it was a sweep.
No, it wasn't.
No? Oh no! They swept the Mavericks the following year.
Yeah.
Okay.
They laughed. Yeah. They laughed at me, Alok, but they didn't see what I saw.
You saw the vision, man.
The Russ Westbrook flip shot where he steals the ball from.
Oh, and then the crowd goes wild. Yeah, on the steal
it's
in the fast break.
Burned in my brain forever.
Iconic.
Watched it in a Buffalo Wild Wings with 2 Lakers fans.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, it's euphoria.
Well, that's thank you for sharing. I
have if this podcast ever gets big, I'll reveal the reason why Kevin Durant became my favorite player for a long time.
Why does it have to be a secret? Are you just saving some ammo?
It's unbelievably embarrassing.
All right, I'm looking forward to it. I'm determined to make this podcast.
We'll call it 500 subscribers. I'll reveal.
Okay, you heard that, audience. So tell your friends if you want to hear a great story. It sounds like about why Shahnoor was drawn to Kevin Durant. I'll go ahead and say that what drew me to the Oklahoma City Thunder in the first place was Kevin Durant. I remember kind of at the time of them becoming the Thunder from the Seattle SuperSonics. They had Durant on the team, already. Obviously, they had just traded Ray Allen, so they were really a bottom-out team. They're bottoming out team. They were like among the worst in the league. And I just remember then they slowly improved, and it's something that caught my eye. I really liked the way Kevin Durant played. I watched him at Texas, and that one year he was there. He could score the second he got into the league. It was just a player I had never really seen before, or a type of player that I had never really seen before.
Yeah.
And plus, the Thunder were having success on the back of his success on the back of his scoring prowess. So that's kind of what drew me to them, and I really locked in on that 2011 playoff run when they first started by beating the Lakers. Um, and I'm blanking actually on the other team they beat during that run. The Lakers was the first round. Then they beat. Do you remember?
Uh,
They lost to
20.
the Mavericks in the conference
Yeah, they lost to
finals.
Mavericks. Who did they play? Was it? It wasn't Grizzlies that year. It was Spurs.
It was the Spurs,
Yeah,
right? No, no. The Spurs was in the conference finals the
2014.
following 20 no 2012 they beat the Spurs in the conference finals. 2011. That's gonna bother me, but anyway, that's kind of when I was drawn to them, and I kind of just went from there. Just a really compelling team. They were young and successful, and obviously, like after that year, they made some big. After one more year, they made big
It
changes
was
to the roster, and it was an adventure from there. Go ahead.
it was the Nuggets. Why don't I remember that?
Nuggets in the second round, or was the Lakers the second round?
Am I tripping?
We'll address this later on the
You're not
podcast.
later.
We're going to get to the bottom of this, but
Bad fans. We're
um,
bad fans.
yeah. So it's been a roller coaster ever since those couple of early years where I was watching them. Harden got traded, uh, KD got hurt, Westbrook got hurt in the playoffs, KD left, and the rest is all history. And now we're here today with a new upstart Thunder that I just wanted to talk about and highlight. In our talks before this podcast, it didn't seem like you had a very good, a lot of good things to say about this Thunder team. But we first would just want to focus on our thoughts on the early start to the Oklahoma City Thunder, the 2024, 2025 version of the team, and your just initial thoughts on it with the now, I believe, 9-game sample.
The roster is like it's beautiful. Uh, the early thoughts. Do you want me to be like
Don't pull any punches, man.
the defense? The defense is unbelievable. The defense is like the most real thing about this team. Um, I mean, I think the defense rating is 93 right now. That's not going to stay, obviously. They've kind of had an easy early schedule, but the team leads the league in stocks, steals and blocks. Are number one in stocks. I looked that up yesterday, and yeah, Alex Caruso, even though he's been ass on offense today he played well, but Alex Caruso's offense has been like quite frankly baffling. But every time he makes a stupid offensive play, he makes up for it by being like making the most. He's Ed Reed out there. What can I say? He's a ball hawk. The offense worries me kind of a lot. The fact that not today, obviously. Today, one of my points was going to be that like none of the big three had all played well at the same time.
Mm.
Big three being Jalen Williams, Chet, and Shea. They fixed that today, but it worries me because our schedule hasn't been that difficult. And early, they seem to have been going through like a bit of like an early shooting slump, it feels like, which worries me because it feels like if you have one early, it means you're going to get better as the season goes on, and then you're going to hit that high, then slump again.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, you'd want to start off well, slump in the middle of the season, and then work your way back up as the playoffs come.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels like I'm worried that second slump is going to hit like towards the end of the season, going into the playoffs again. Chat looks unbelievable. If the Lakers had like a better record, I think AD would have maybe have a better argument for defensive player of the year, but so far I think Chet is the defensive player of the year. Um, and Shay's kind of worries me too. His offense he hasn't been getting to the line as much, and something I've noticed watching is like Shay he never talks almost never talks to the refs. Like he kind of just like he'll just play. He'll talk to them like after when plays are over and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This season, if like I don't know, maybe I'm just thinking I'm noticing it more because he's had like a weird rough start to the season, but like it just seems like he's kind of looking and talking and chirping at the refs a little bit more, which is pretty uncharacteristic of him. I feel like that kind of worries me a little bit. I felt a lot worse about the team coming into tonight. I thought tonight was going to be our first L of the night, actually.
Like 4 hours ago.
Yeah. Well, so even before the Denver game, I was like, man, our defense, how long your defense can't carry you for forever. Eventually your offense has to make plays because there are going to be games where your defense just doesn't get it done. And then those games where your defense and offense don't get it done, those are, pretty shitty games to be in. I thought Houston would be our first L, but it was Denver in a really hard, gritty game, and Russell Westbrook's best game of the season. My goat, it had to be him. But it just feels great beating Houston Rockets' ass. If there's any team I hate more, I think my Rockets hate is more joyful than my Lakers hate. My Lakers hate is disdain. My Rockets hate is I just love to see them not do well. But those are my general thoughts. I don't know if you want to get into it, but yeah.
Oh yeah, certainly. But I'll first say I feel like at least for you, it seems like to me is that your Lakers hate is a lot of times fueled by the people who root for the Lakers in addition to them as a team, whereas the Rockets is just purely basketball, just old-fashioned hate.
Yeah.
Just everything they stand for, and I respect it. You've never wavered. So yeah, just to comment on how your assessment of the Thunder, I think how I'll start it is considering what's happened in the league so far, aside from the Celtics, the Cavaliers, there are a lot of teams who are projected to be at the top of their conferences who have gotten off to rocky starts. So in some ways, only having one loss at this point is, just kind of a good place to be. I agree.
Yeah.
It's that in one way that's you're not having a hangover from being the one seed last season. You're kind of picking up where you left off, but it certainly looks different than it did last year. I think the defense has kind of not only picked up where it left off, but made strides. You were right about the stocks. Additionally, just in deflections in general, it's just all signs. I think they're leading the league in deflections overall. Just all signs of a very active defense and an emphasis on the defensive end to be that way, to be opportunistic, to be in passing lanes. And knowing your personnel is built that way. You have a lot of long, rangy wing defenders. You have guards who play bigger than they are. And it all lends itself. And then you have an anchor in the paint like Chet, who is playing like a defensive player of the year, who's really stepped up in that regard to where it's, a night-to-night basis. He's that way. It's not, picking and choosing his matchups that he feasts on. So that's promising. I agree the offense is concerning. But I might have a little bit more of a kind of wait and see approach than you might, and maybe I'm overreacting to how your assessment. I think I'm sure you want to give it time. I think a lot of it has to do with. I think the process is good in a lot of ways. I think the state one thing is that I think watching games in general this year, it seems that they're not trying to, send people to the line as much. I think the officiating changed since the All-Star break last year. And since it's such a big part of, Shea is the head of the snake. He's the engine that keeps this team going. And free throws, getting to the line, whether you believe it's fair or not is just a part of his game, and he has to adapt to it, and he has the skill to do so. But he's kind of in this period of where he's adjusting. I think where the problems come, at least early in the season, offensively for him, is that he has been adjusting to not getting the foul calls by taking more threes.
Yeah.
He's taking near 7 a game. He's shooting at like 25% is what I checked. It went up uh, today, I'm sure. I think he shot more judiciously and hit like 2 out of 3 today. But that's not his game. It's not what he's kind of. I know he wants to be that player one day, but when it's in the setting of like, hey, I'm not getting to the line, so I'm just gonna like take these step back threes. It's just low percentage shots that it's not gonna end well. So a lot more wasted possessions in that regard. I think part of the difficulty is that Alex Caruso has just a horrid start to the season, which you touched on. I think it's like less than 20% from three.
Today was like his
Uh,
best game of the season, and he just hit 2 threes, but his other misses just still look so. It's not just that he's missing; it's how his misses look awful.
hmm And yeah, I think, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I will say on the Alex Caruso front, that he did have his best corner three shooting season last year. Like
Mhm.
I think he shot around 40%. But that's never really been what he was as a player. He's been defense first and then kind of an average to maybe above average 3-point shooter. But it
Yeah,
was sort of
and
a flash in the pan, his shooting last season. So I expect some regression, but at the same time, you can only expect so much.
to be fair to him, uh, he has been playing backup center this whole season too,
Yeah.
so he's been getting
Um,
kind of beaten up.
yeah, it's tough. I mean, he plays such an integral defensive role, so then expecting like this huge plus offensive player is a little bit unreasonable. Um, but I think the Caruso part of it will somewhat regress to the mean eventually, and it'll be fine. I think the Shea, the shot diet sort of thing, it needs to be fixed because that him being such an impactful part of their offense,
Yeah,
if his shot profile doesn't like look like what it needs to be, then it's actually going to have like a lasting negative impact on the offense. Um, as a team, I was looking on NBA.com and just kind of looking at shot success by type. Um, so they're shooting a similar percentage in volume at the rim in the restricted area. They're shooting similar percentages from the corner, corner threes. They're actually shooting better in the mid range this year than last year in this small sample. They're shooting more above the break threes, but at a similar percentage. But the one thing that's really tailed off, actually, I think, is shots in the paint outside of the restricted area, so like floaters, like short step backs, hook shots for the bigs. And I wasn't exactly sure why that is. One thing is I think they are relying a lot on isolation still in the games that I've watched. I think you have, especially when you're playing like Caruso in these center roles, you have a lot of opportunities to put him in short roll situations to where he's a capable passer. He can pass out to the wings, and him being the weakest shooter on the floor, he'll have shooters around him to pass to in a sort of Draymond Green type role, and he can also make those floating jump shots or in the paint. Jalen Williams too. I think he sometimes can get a little settly around the mid range and not,
mhm.
use his frame to get into the basket and get, a little bit higher percentage shots for himself. So I think that's kind of an area of opportunity for them that I expect that uh, the coach will kind of recognize and kind of hone in on. And then part of it also might be that they're taking these shots in the restricted area or in the paint, but outside of the restricted area, expecting to get fouled, and they're just not getting the calls, like you touched on. So that's kind of my take on the offense. I think it's fixable. I think the biggest thing that needs to be like kind of emphasized and corrected sooner rather than later is kind of how Shea sets the tone for the rest of the offense. I
Yeah.
think J-Dub's had a good start to the season. Chet, I think I would like to see Chet tap into his playmaking a little bit more. He's averaging like 2.4 assists this season and the same last season. But ultimately, that's a lot of what situations he's put in, whether he's put in the short roll or in dribble handoff situations. But it all starts with Shea, and I think that's the most addressable thing that I've seen so far. I don't know your thoughts on that.
No, I agree 100%. And I think for all the worrying I'm doing, we are what is it, 8-1 now, 7-1.
Yeah, but
I think
it's
also
such a
another
high
part is
bar.
I think they had like uh I mean they're a young team, so I don't know if how much this should matter, but they played 9 games in 14 days. Um, so that could have a little bit to do with it too. It also seems like part of it is, I guess, expecting calls, but uh, feels like Shea and Chet are getting ripped a lot more, especially Chet. Uh, I don't know if you noticed whenever he puts the ball on the floor to try to get in the paint. I noticed this, especially these like last three games. He's just like it's easy to take the ball away from him. It feels like, um, and I think we're also we're not forgetting it, but I mean Isaiah Hartenstein's gonna like help this team so much in the
Yeah,
offense. It can only get better with him. So
I
I don't know.
agree. I think he, especially when it comes to like the playmaking void. So if there's one thing that you're missing from the departure of Hemo, who must not be named uh, in Chicago now, is he did bring a level of playmaking that you can't just find anywhere else. Like,
Right.
it's not just like, oh, you just replace that easily. Um, and that's missing. It generates easier looks for the Stars, especially putting, I think Jalen Williams and Chet really benefited from his playmaking last year, as well as these bench guys coming off the bench, getting to the corners. He's a good connector in that respect. And I think Hardenstein will kind of fill that void. He's kind of been in that role before, to where he needs to be a connector on these
Hmm.
these plays where he's involved in the pick and roll and in dribble handoffs. So yeah, I agree that'll be helpful. Um, but overall, a good start. I don't think there's any there. There are a lot of teams that are hitting the panic button early
Yep.
this year, and I think just because Peyton Watson, uh, if Peyton Watson didn't have that heroic defensive play, or if Shea maybe initiated that last 10
Right.
seconds, maybe that possession a little sooner, we would be talking differently and they'd be undefeated. But it's a great start to the
Not
season. They're
everyone could be
still,
the Cavs.
yeah, Cavs, man. I'm
Oh
glad
my
they
god.
stomped the Warriors. That was a welcome sight to see. But I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to say the Thunder have had a good start, despite our nitpicks. Um, but one thing I wanted to focus on, we talked a lot about, the big players on the team, Shea, Jalen Williams, Chet, new addition Alex Caruso, and another new addition that has yet to play, Isaiah Hartenstein. But if you were to focus on maybe these more unheralded players on the roster that have contributed best to the start that they've had, do you have a player or two in mind that you wanted to kind of speak
Yeah,
on, kind of what they offer?
I wouldn't say he's exactly unheralded, uh, especially when we talk. But Lujan's Dort, man, Lujan,
Yeah,
I think he's having his. It's only 8 games. He's having his like best season, like just in this 8 games. Like I've been kind of down on the offense. Each year he's taken like a step back in his role offensively, and it's only like made him a more refined and better player. Uh, and this season, he's done it again, and it's paying off even better. I would still like it if he didn't put the ball on the floor as much as he did, because he can get a lot. He can get lost on the way to the basket at times, and his decision making once he drives isn't always the best. But uh, I think he's just every year he just amazes me. My precious Lou.
yeah,
Um, I, I'm you're probably gonna touch on some other bench pieces. So I'm just going to touch on the rookie AJ Mitchell, who I thought he would play a little bit just because um, Mark likes to go 12 deep at any on during any given game. He's like really impressed me for a second round rookie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he outperformed Wemby in San Antonio. He outperformed Reed Shepard
lot,
tonight.
lot of people outperforming Wemby these days.
uh,
Um,
he reminds me. So when Aaron Wiggins came into the league, like as a number 55 pick on that really bad team we had 2 or 3 years ago, um, like even as like you could just kind of tell like, oh, this guy just knows how to play basketball,
mhm.
um, and like he kind of just plays like a really well coached player, and he just knows what to do when he's on the court. Like he never looks lost. I wouldn't say AJ Mitchell has been that good, but for he's given me a tiny bit of Aaron Wiggins vibes, and like, oh, this is like a sound like a good second round player that's getting like quality, like kind of important minutes, and that's been really impressive to me. Who's
Yeah.
impressed you as far as these side pieces go?
It's an interesting way to put them, but definitely have some kind of role players that have impressed me. But I just want to kind of add to who you highlighted. So Lou Dort, I think you hit it right on the head. It's like a lot of his growth is kind of a less is more approach, knowing when to pick his spots. He reminds me a lot, watching Lou Dort over the past couple
Ray
of years
Lewis?
reminded. Uh, sure, maybe on the defensive end, but offensively, which I
No,
think
yeah,
is where he's really honed in, but offensively, he reminded me a lot of Marcus Smart sometimes,
yeah.
maybe like a less ball handly Marcus Smart in that he kind of had a little bit too much dip on his chip when it comes to like his shot, when he chooses to take shots, at what time in the shot clock, what instance of the game. Was there a swing pass available that you could have, a better option available to you?
Swing, swing.
Swing, swing. But he's really focused in on it, and it's done wonders for his, percentages. I think he's like shooting near 50% from the field and from three. Um, it's not like wowing you with his numbers, but like he doesn't need to, right? His biggest contribution to the team identity is his defense, and he's embracing truly being a 3 and D player. He still has those moments in him, which I don't think he'll ever leave his game, and that's why he's going to be always flawed as a player. Is that when he puts the ball on the floor, he doesn't know what to do with it unless there's a open lane. Um, but that's just something you have to live with when Lou Dort kind of provides so many positives to your team, especially as like a he'll his like official um, kind of place in the rotation is probably higher. But if you really went 1 through 9 in the roster, where is he as far as rankings go? Like 7, 6 or 7.
Yeah,
So to have someone like that, at that pecking order in your roster is really great to have. And AJ Mitchell, I think he's not doing a lot. I agree. But if you go around the league, I mean, I'm watching the Lakers and the Sixers right now. Jalen Hood-Schifino could never do anything, and like he's a first round pick, and the Lakers are way worse of a team. Need players to contribute as far as depth goes, and a rookie, a first round rookie still can't contribute meaningfully, and you have the second round rookie um, having his moments in games, contribute, making winning plays, and not just in garbage time. And I think it's just kind of a testament to, for all the flack I personally give Presti for not really kind of having a type. I think the reason he has a type, like he chose this guy who, not from a heralded school, but, was kind of the alpha dog on this team, is not afraid to handle the ball. Ball handling is not something that, to be in to play in the league, especially as like a second round pick, you need to know how to like, make good decisions. And you need to know how to like rotate defensively. That's how you're going to get on the floor. And AJ Mitchell knows how to do both of those things. So that's going to keep giving him minutes. I think Dylan Jones is the same way. He's probably a little bit more raw, but a little bit higher upside than AJ Mitchell. Um, but it's kind of the same philosophy there. Um, I wanted to highlight. I'm sure you could predict Kason Wallace. It's just like the reason it's just like Caruso is like the war turtle to Kason Wallace's Squirtle.
Yeah,
I don't know who Blastoise would be in this situation. Um, but just like having it's like almost as if he's become supercharged because he has Caruso in the building with him, in the
right.
organization with him, and just it's just wreaks havoc on opposing offenses while still providing that 3 and D potential. There, you'd wish some games that he's a more reliable shooter, but with his defensive presence on the floor, it's just hard to keep him off the floor. And you touched on Aaron Wiggins too. I think Aaron Wiggins has kind of picked up where he left off in the playoffs. He's kind of pretty lethal in transition, which is one of the biggest things that's very helpful for this team. It's like when this team plays fast, they generate a lot of turnovers. So to have people that can just make these transition plays, you have Shea, who's like a monster in transition. J Dub is also, but just like to have the more players you have when you play this style that can just kind of take the ball and run with it, and you don't have to, always rely on Shea to like put those miles on his body, or to try and draw a foul. And he can make those sort of plays, at a fast pace. It's always good to have. Yeah,
Also,
so
Aaron Wiggins, he could start on like there are a lot of teams he like good teams he could start on. Like
yeah,
on on playoff contending teams. Like I think he would start on the Warriors,
he'd start on
um,
both of these teams I'm watching, fucking the
Sixers,
Sixers
and
and the
Lakers.
Lakers. Like
He would
he'd
start on the
take
Bucks.
Cam Reddish to the starting spot easily.
The Bucks would love to have Aaron Wiggins right now.
Absolutely. It, although
Uh,
I did like how they
well, I
played
guess
under Jackson.
yeah, I guess the Bucks aren't really a playoff team at this moment, but
They will be,
the Nuggets would
but
love to have Aaron Wiggins right now,
yeah, he's a good
and
player.
that's their like eighth. That's their eighth guy off the bench.
Hmm.
He's one of the. He's, like that's such a luxury.
Yeah, I think the Thunder are in a good spot, with not only their top end talent but just like their array of depth. They have more, and they have more depth coming with Hardenstein. With hopefully Dylan Jones can make some meaningful strides to where if someone
Sure.
gets hurt, he can step up. So and we didn't even talk about Isaiah Joe, which I'm sure we'll talk
Oh
about
man.
in future podcasts.
Oh
But
man,
um,
dude, even Oos is good.
yeah,
Dude.
um, but I do want to kind of step away from talking about the how good the Thunder
Sure.
currently are, and maybe talk about how good they could be if they
Mm,
because one thing is about the Thunder is not only do they have um, really good talent on the roster currently, but they have these draft picks, uh, you know, currently representing like 15, 16-year olds, but held in high regard across the league. In addition to just like like
even in
you were
this
saying,
upcoming draft.
like yeah, in this upcoming draft, they have their own pick. They have the Clippers pick. They have the Sixers pick, which is now looking pretty valuable.
Yeah.
They're in a really good spot. So I wanted to shift to I think they're the most intriguing trade team in the league. We touched on that I think in our first podcast this
Yeah.
year. So I want you to put your trade machine hat on. Talk about we're talking realistic trade. So it can be for a superstar, but let's be reasonable here because if you could think of someone who is kind of tradable contract wise, market wise,
Who's on the trade
and
block?
and add them to the roster, who do you think would make the most sense?
Um, uh, Who's a I don't know. I don't really know anyone's like contract situation this year. I mean, another wing or ball handler, like just it never hurts to have. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I think the thing with Oklahoma City Thunder again is that the contracts really don't like where the cap gymnastics kind of make like are something to consider with other teams when they're trying to make a trade. It's like they have so many tradable contracts. They have Lou Dort's contract, they have
yeah,
Isaiah Joe's contract, and Aaron Wiggins just got extended. They're all useful players other teams would want, plus their contracts are tradable. So I think really almost no one is off limits, which is why they're so intriguing of a team. So with that being said,
what do you have in mind?
so I was thinking about it, and he's never really associated or thought of as like a trade target by the Thunder or like someone who could potentially be on the Thunder. But I was thinking about Walker Kessler. He's like he's in, he's he has history in our circles for other reasons. Maybe another time, but he's perennially on the trade block. The Jazz are trying to get Cooper Flag. He's been dangled,
Yeah,
so linked to the Lakers. And I mean, the Lakers don't have
who
anyone that,
isn't?
the Jazz really want. Yeah, the Lakers, a lot of big game hunting. Um,
Lakers fans be like, we getting everybody this year.
but like, if there's one thing that people had to complain about, the roster, it's reliable, kind of big, you know, rebounding is what they got killed on against the Mavericks last year in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
I
And just like sheer size, like Chet is a great rim protector, but like someone who can set good screens, who can also be a rim protector, just kind of a different
maybe
archetype of a player, kind of what they filled the gap in
like
with
I remember
Harden's
last year I
time.
really wanted I didn't want Gordon Hayward. I really wanted him to go after Kelly Olynyk.
Yeah.
Um, he's still injured this year, so I guess it doesn't. But like, so like he would have been cool, but um, like
Yeah.
last year I also wanted like where'd he go? Like I wanted like Dorian Finney-Smith. Like I think he would have been great, but these are like I'm still thinking in terms of last year.
Yeah.
This year I kind of just want to. I kind of just want to write it up. Maybe like someone who can throw a lob. No one on this team can throw a lob. No one's ever on this team has been able to throw a lob. We throw the most horrific lobs in the league. Uh,
Yeah. I
uh,
know I know someone who can throw a lob, but I wanted to get some more like normal targets in
yeah, yeah,
before
yeah.
before I went to it. But I think Walker Kessler is someone who can certainly catch a lob and would fill a need. Um, do you have anyone else in mind
I
before I
mean,
get to maybe my far-fetched one?
there's the one like you said, keep real. Like, there's like the one superstar trade that everyone's kind of been talking about for like the last week or so.
Yeah,
I kind of want to save that for. We can talk about it a little bit here. I kind of wanted to like say save it the bigger talk about it like on for we're gonna record on Monday.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. We can save it
but
for then.
yeah, we'll save it for then. No, but like yeah, throw out who else you got. I know I've been pessimistic on this team, but
Are you are
I
you
want to
gonna
write it
are you
out. I
gonna
want to write
are
it
you
out.
gonna are you gonna kick me off this stream if I say Trey Young?
No, I've maybe it's the beard, but I've come to respect Trey Young a lot. I don't know why.
I I
But
I think he
I don't
could.
know. I don't know. That just doesn't fit the archetype of the team. But
It
no,
certainly doesn't. But
say what you're gonna say though.
like you said, someone who can throw lobs, someone who's like their calling card is offense. He's a playmaker. He's he's a defensive liability, but it's the perfect team to mask his defensive liabilities. Like the theoretical fit, the three theoretical reason why they traded for DeJounte Murray is the actual reality of the Oklahoma City Thunder. They have a defensive backcourt that can cover for his weaknesses. They have a roster that's so defensively strong that you know, his his lack of defense is going to be masked. And he brings 3-point shooting. He brings playmaking. Um, it's still left field because it's just going to take the ball out of Shea's hands, and I think
Yeah.
Shea is a better player. And Trae Young hasn't really shown, even in the DeJounte Murray seasons, a real kind of next step of adaptation to play off ball. It was just kind of a your turn, my turn
Yeah.
thing, and I don't think that would be a little clunky with Shea. But like say if I could go through the rest of the regular season with the roster as is, but then bring Trae Young on for the playoffs to have that option, I'd do that. Even if it took a couple picks and I don't know, Aaron Wiggins, I'd do it because I think it's Trae Young, man.
Yeah,
I know I
I
know
know.
trades don't work that way, but like he kind of makes sense. But no one will talk about it because they have Shea and they have J Dub and they have everybody. Um,
I'm just a sentimental guy, man. I can't see the. I want to see this team win it all.
yeah, I think they'll right the ship. I think this shows that like the stuff they're getting in trouble for now is what they'll get in trouble for in the playoffs.
Yeah,
So you gotta start thinking forward, whether you're adjusting your scheme, which I think there are some adjustments to make, but you also might need to make some personnel changes and strike while the iron's hot because when are you gonna have an 8-1 start to the season where everyone else is kind of figuring it out? Like you're already the 1 seed, you're looking like you're in contention for the 1 seed again. It's not gonna happen every year. So
we don't need anyone, man. We're gonna win it all,
all
baby.
right, hubris.
We just crushed the Houston Rockets. No one
Yeah,
can stand
man.
in our way.
Sure, man. We checked in with a couple. No, but they're in a good. I see where you're coming from. There's a lot of development to be had, but
I just
at
think
some
this
point you got to
whole.
cash in.
I just think this whole like these last 3 years, like from the first tanking year, actually even before that, like the 2020 season with Chris Paul, uh, like just like I guess Dagnall didn't come till the next year, but I still like for some reason I still think of that as part of like because that was Shea's first year, I guess, and Shea and Dort's first year, so I consider that like the build like the first like the cornerstone year, I guess. But it just feels like they've been very like deliberate like every step of the way, and they've been like process over results for like I I mean, of course, we're probably gonna get a trade. Like, it wouldn't surprise me like to see these guys like get traded for like a much bigger piece, but it just feels like been very process oriented, and they've like got the right guys for that type of basketball that they want to play.
That
Um,
that's why I threw out someone like Walker Kessler
yeah,
because I understand the rationale but I feel like a lot of teams could kind of need that kind of that injection from outside of the system, whether it's like
I
the
mean, you
Mavericks
talked
last
about it
year,
last
right?
year. Yeah, I was gonna bring up Derek Lively. Like you talked about it a lot last year. Like we should have just taken Derek Lively. Like
Yeah,
as good as Casey Wallace is, maybe should have just gotten a guy who maybe doesn't like he still would have contributed either way. Maybe he was not the perfect fit for like the way you want to play basketball, but like in the playoffs, he would have like rewarded you like greatly.
that's true. But like, what if? But even then, it's like okay, so say like Kason Wallace is not bad, right? He contributes, but then you had the opportunity to trade for either or both Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington, who killed you in the playoffs. And I think probably Gafford made the most sense on that roster last
Yeah,
year, and they didn't do it. They traded for Gordon Hayward because it's like you have a type you want to fit this mold, but you have to understand how like in playoff time you have to like have a counter to everything.
yeah. I guess
And and that's why I said Walker Kessler. I think and I think about like even if you go back to the Celtics, right? It took like a year or so, but like the Derek White trade was so integral to why they are who they are right
yeah,
now. And they were still like top of the conference at the time they made the trade. And then like it didn't look like it was paying dividends the first season even. Like Derek White had his growing pains against the Warriors in that finals, right? But at the end of the day, without Derek White, I don't know if they would like necessarily have won the title last year. It still might have, but like he was a big part.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess
and
the other thing we have to say with the Gordon Hayward thing is, as much as I hated Gordon Hayward, like without that trade, we don't get Isaiah Hartenstein either. Like we were only able to sign him because of the space Gordon Hayward opened up after his contract
yeah,
ended.
that's true. But then again, it's like I don't know, if you trade for Walker Kessler, like he's on a rookie deal.
Yeah,
Is it? Do you even need Hardenstein? But like that's what I'm thinking. It's like you really have to think about like what your needs are at this moment in time because you don't know if you're gonna have this moment there. Like you don't have to go all in, but like you have so much to work with. So it's about like identifying weaknesses and addressing them. I think if come February there's no move is made, I'll actually be pretty disappointed. Um, because I think this is the year. I mean, I had them as my finals pick. I still feel pretty confident about it, but there've been some early concerns. Um, enough of doom and gloom about the Thunder. It's probably the most pessimistic anyone will ever sound about a team that's 8-1.
yeah.
Uh,
I
one
think
one
part of
thing
the
that
reason I'm pessimistic. Sorry, but I think just part of. I think I never buy into preseason. I bought into preseason so hard this year. They looked. I was like, J Dub's gonna hit everything. Shay's gonna hit everything. Like, no, we're never gonna miss. And then start of the season, we're missing everything. But anyway, sorry, what were you gonna say?
I just wanted to end on maybe a little bit more positive note and something that I didn't prep you for, but um, we're not going to have too many of these Thunder pods this year. So I thought I'd take this opportunity as now is a better time than any to do a little bit of a fun thought exercise. I want to do a little draft,
Okay.
and the draft is um, players who've played for the Oklahoma City Thunder. You're making a starting five, and you can only choose a single player once. But when you draft that player, you pick the exact season they played.
Okay.
And I'll let you do the honors picking
You want? Let's play
first.
rock. Let's play rock paper scissors. On shoot.
Okay. Okay.
Rock
One,
paper
two,
scissors
three,
shoot.
shoot.
All
All right,
right,
that's
you go
me.
first. Oh, what?
I have some balloons.
That was
I don't
crazy.
know. I don't know what
That
happened.
was crazy.
It's congratulating me because I get the first pick, and it's going to just really set the tone for our team. So these teams are supposed to go head to head. Maybe our audience can chime in. Maybe our fellow podcast members can chime in on whose team would win. But with my first pick, I'm taking 2013-2014 Kevin Durant.
Oh, God dang it.
And I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it's
put him.
the consensus overall number one pick. Yes.
I'm gonna put him at my 4.
Mm, mm. There's only one guy who can stop 2014 Kevin Durant, and it's
Just go ahead and say it, man. Go ahead and
no.
say
I'm
it.
not. I'm not gonna take him.
No, dude, why not? It's not like he's gonna pass my KD the ball. I'm not gonna draft him. Why not? Why don't you go ahead, man? He's your goat.
Your your team is so sick. Give me MVP Russell Westbrook.
There you go. Now I don't have to worry about him taking shots away from one of the most efficient
God,
shooters ever to live.
I'm sorry, I got drafted an MVP, and I'm saying I fucked up. This is crazy, man. I love you, Russ. Don't listen to this.
You really get screwed over if you don't get first because with my second pick and my point guard, I'm going to take
Raymond Felton.
2023-2024 Shea
Yeah,
Gilgeous-Alexander.
of course. I was gonna pivot to him, but it was just too funny. It was a great pick. You got a great team, man. We could just end the draft there, to be honest.
No, dude, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. There's a lot of talent.
I'll take a 2014. No, wait, is that what I undo? Let me think. I'll take. It's only 8 games in, but I'll take Chet.
2024, 2025 check.
Yeah, sure.
Where are you
yeah.
putting him?
Center.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take
Please.
20 you know exactly I'm going to take what? 2018, 2019 Paul George. Put him at the 3.
I'm so dumb, dude. That's not even,
I was so surprised you
I don't
didn't take
know.
him.
Dude, for some reason, Paul George left my memory.
he
Dude,
was there and then he was gone.
Third place MVP voting.
Man, my team is so good that I can be a little fun at the end. But I'll let you
I'm so
take the next
stressed
one.
out. I'm so stressed. Shooting guard. God, Russ really fucked this team up, dude. You suck.
So I mean, you can recover.
You know what? Dude, I'm so dumb. I shouldn't have taken Russ. Oh my god. All right, I'm gonna take 2014 Serge Ibaka.
Dang, that was actually who I was hoping to get with my next pick. So that's I applaud you on that one.
I'm so dumb. There's such a better pick for point guard.
Oh yeah, but I'm not going to take him. I know who you're thinking, but that'll kind of mess up the flow. With my at my 2, I'm going to take. I'm actually going to take 2023, 2024 Jalen Williams. At my 2.
God, damn it.
A little bit more efficient. Kind of knows his role a little bit. He's not going to take the ball away from Shea or KD too much.
Yo, check out this shooting guard.
You have one who you should pick, and I don't think you're going to. I think you're going to just like pull someone out of left field.
Dude, this guy gave me heart attacks when he played, but like,
my
gosh, he's just the type of player I love.
Oh my gosh, Dion Waiters.
Yeah, Dion Waiters. 2016.
That's a good pick, dude. He was so in that playoff run. He was amazing. He was
unbelievable. He was unbelievable.
Man, if it weren't for KD's 10 for 31, Dion Waiters would have been a folk hero. They would have beaten the Cavs, man. Gosh. All right, so this is my last pick, and I'm just like so clearly wiping the floor with you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a little fun here. So for my center, I'm gonna pick 2011, 2012 Kendrick Perkins.
That's disgusting.
And I'm still gonna destroy your team.
I hated Kendrick Perkins so much.
It doesn't matter, man. My team is so much better than yours.
I should have just never. It just would have been so disrespectful.
Yeah, you should have taken Chris Paul.
I should have just waited and taken Chris
Paul. You should have taken Chris Paul, and you should have taken like a younger version of shooting guard Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
But who are you gonna take with your fifth pick?
I got the 3 left. Man, it would have been really nice to have Paul George. Fuck it. 2020 Danilo Gallinari.
Oh brother, man,
this team sucks.
I could just have Kendrick Perkins run the point, and I'd be fine. My team is so much better than yours, man.
What if I took Derek Fisher as point guard instead?
Dude, you could have taken Jeremy Grant. You could have taken 2016 Jeremy Grant. You could have taken, man, Danilo
2016
Gallinari.
Jeremy Grant was pretty bad.
Was he? But he got traded pretty soon, so he wasn't on the Thunder for a long time.
He
was on 2017.
2017 was the Melo year. He finally got good.
You could have taken Melo.
Man, look, I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna get Olympic Mellow that year.
Didn't we all? Didn't we all?
You guys don't even have to vote on the teams. It's so clearly like.
No, let's vote. Let's vote. And let me recap. Just so our at the very least our fellow podcasters
Man,
can
Sam
comment
Presti
on
has
it.
the hardest job in the world. I don't know how he does it.
So let's start with Shahnoor's team. So at his one, he has 2016, 2017, Russell Westbrook, MVP. At his shooting guard, he has 2015, 2016, Dion Waiters. At his three, he has 2019, 2020, Danilo Gallinari. At his four, he has
Serge.
2013, 2014 Serge Ibaka. And at his five, he has 2024, 2025 Chet Holmgren.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. Might make like the 8th seed in the West this year. Maybe, by the grace of God. My team is, at my point guard, I have 2023, 2024 Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Oh, brother.
At my two, I have 2023, 2024 Jalen Williams, J-Dub. At my three, I have 2018, 2019 Paul George. At my four, I have MVP 2013, 2014 Kevin Durant. And at my five, my secret weapon, I have 2011, 2012 Kendrick Perkins. That team could beat your team with their eyes closed, man.
All right, man, calm down.
Man,
oh my God! I should.
That's a big boost to the.
I should have drafted Andre Roberson to shut down KD.
His one weakness, Andre Roberson. But this was fun, Shahnoor.
Yeah,
I'm glad we can talk about the Thunder. We'll have some check-ins about how they're doing over the season. Hopefully, it's continued success, especially closer to the trade deadline. I'm sure some talks will heat up. So, look forward to those discussions. And I'll see you Monday.
See you Monday.
Last order of business. Are we calling this Thunder Buddies? I realized there was a 2016 era podcast called Thunder Buddies that I would listen to, especially when I was worried about where KD was going to go in free agency. I listened to them to cope as the free agent drama kind of waged on. So I don't think we can really take that, but maybe we'll do TBD for now.
July 3rd, 2016. I was 100% confident he was staying.
So was I.
I bought a Kevin Durant jersey.
Oh.
I woke up the next day. My jersey was hanging in my room. I woke up the next day. I woke up late. I check my phone and I just have a million notifications. I'm like,
dude, it ruins your holiday, man. Something about Thunder players ruining your holiday. Freaking
dude, oh my God.
He who must not be named.
Thanksgiving. Black Friday was ruined.
Yeah. And then Kevin Durant ruined my July. I don't really care about July 4th though, but still.
I just thought, I was like, damn, what's happening on Independence Day today? And my heart shattered.
Yeah, I definitely thought he was staying too, but the rest is history. And
my next chapter.
Maybe the Thunder are better off with this new, these new faces of the team.
My best start to a Thunder season ever. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right, Shadort, Shah Gilgeous-Alexander.
I pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the Dort.
That concludes our first iteration of this Thunder podcast. We'll have a name for you next time around. But thanks for joining us.
Peace.
Bye.
Aaron Wiggins, fast break, spin move. Man, nothing like it.
It's
maybe Eddie Lacy against Notre Dame in 2011. Hitting his spin.
Eddie Lacy. Oh man, that hit a sore spot, man. Eddie Lacy.
My favorite Alabama running back ever. The Packers should have used him better. Look,
they didn't.
Before he got fat, he had one last year. He what?
They
He
didn't
got
believe
mad
in him,
because they
man.
didn't believe in him.
It's not like fat running backs haven't been successful before. They just didn't
Yeah.
believe in him, man.